Hi, I'm Kelsey, creator of M Bloomfelt Studio, and today I will be showing you how to make some of my very favorite flowers, wildflowers. This video will show you how to create 4 different types of flowers, and you can get the templates for each of these in the Wildflowers bundle in my Etsy shop. It includes written instructions as well as PDF and SVG files. Let's go over the materials that you'll need for this tutorial. You will need felt. I use wool blend felt, it's higher quality from Benzie Design, fabric scissors, wire cutters, needle nose pliers, a hot glue gun, and glue. You'll also need extra small felt palms, which will be used for the centers of a couple of your flowers, 18 gauge wire, and 22 gauge wire. A couple side notes for your materials. Pick whatever colors you want your flowers to be. For Wildflowers 1 and 2, you'll want a petal color and a center color, as well as a shade of green for the leaf on the bottom. For Wildflower 3, you'll use an extra small felt palm for your center. I chose a light pink. It can be whatever you want. And Wildflower 4, the itty bitty daisy, I chose a mustard extra small palm. You'll need 3 of those for the center of your flowers. Let's get started on flower number 1. Okay, for wildflower number 1, you're going to have 6 petals in your center. I just chose a pink and a yellow for my petals in center. If you used a Cricut, this is your centerpiece. It's going to have already cut your slits in the middle. If you're hand cutting, you'll have your rectangle, and I'm going to show you how to cut that center out. So first, put a line of glue lengthwise on your rectangle, fold it over, and you can make these cuts as small or further apart, just depending on the look that you want. I usually make these pretty close together. Here's your attached edge, and you're just going to make cuts along this part here. Not all the way down. And try to space them as evenly as you can. See, that's about how far apart mine are. Done. Let's attach it to your 18 gauge wire. Put your stem on the second loop, not all the way at the top. You can add your stem at the very end or as you're going, but I'm adding it to the stem. Put your line of glue, fold over the first loop and press tightly so that your wire is covered. Hold it and let the glue dry. And then add a line of glue and roll up your center tightly around the stem. To make sure it's secured to the wire, I always add some glue to the bottom around the wire and then set that off to the side and let it dry. One cool trick I wanted to show you about wildflower number 1 is you can swap out the center for an extra small felt palm, and that would look like this. I think it's a really cool way to add some variety to bouquets using the same template. For your petals, create a line of glue on the bottom, just a little bit, and you'll fold each side in to meet in the middle. So fold it and fold that second one over. Hold it and let the glue dry. This bottom edge should be flat, and it's okay if you have some glue showing there like I do, because we are going to add glue to that part as we add it to the flower. And continue to do that until all of your petals are glued and folded. Okay, this should be secure now. I give it a little tug just to make sure it's not going to slide off the wire. And now you'll glue your pieces to the center. Add some glue on the bottom and press it to the middle, like that. It will go on the bottom just a bit. For your next piece, I'm going to make an L of glue. It can go just on the bottom, but I always add a little bit to the side as well. That way I can push it against the petal that it's next to. So on the bottom and the side. And when I attach it, I'm going to push it on the center as well as that second piece there. It just lessens the gap between each of the petals. and continue that process all the way around. Here's your last piece. All the petals are attached. Looks great, and you'll just add your bottom piece, snip a hole through the center if it's not already there, and slide it along your stem. Add glue to each of these tabs and push up around your flower petals, and it will be complete. All done. Next, let's get started on wildflower number 2. Okay, for the second wildflower, same thing with your center. If you're hand cutting, you'll just have a rectangle, and if you used your Cricut machine, it'll already have the slits. So all you'll have to do is add glue here and fold it over, and we're gonna wrap it around the stem just like in the first one. If you hand cut, the easiest way is to do exactly like the first one. Fold it over and make your snips. I do make the cuts on this one just a little bit further apart. It makes it more chunky, is always the word in my head. But you can add the cuts as close as you want or as far apart as you want and kind of decide what look you're going for. Same method of adding this to your stem. And I also add glue to the bottom of this one too, just to double check that it's totally secured and not going to slip off. Set that aside and let it dry. This flower has 5 petals with a cut down the middle. You'll add a drop of glue onto one side of your petal and fold the other side over. And this makes the petal more cupped. So now let's add the petals onto your flower. That's secure. Now you can wrap your petals around whichever way you want. I tend to always go clockwise. For your first petal, you'll attach it just a little bit different. Putting glue on one of the sides, this is going to allow us to tuck the very last petal in. See how that's unattached there? And you'll see how we tuck it in as we move around. For the next ones, I will add an L shape of glue. This is going to glue the second petal onto the first, slightly overlapping, and along the bottom side. So continue that L-shaped pattern of gluing all the way around until you reach the very last petal. Okay, so I'm at the end. I'm going to attach my last petal, and what I want to do is just tuck it in so the first petal overlaps. So glue it exactly the same way. And I'm going to add some glue. This was the very first petal we added. Fold it over onto the last one. This creates an even overlap, underlap all the way around. Let's add our bottom leaf. And you'll just glue each of these 4 tabs onto your flower. And that's it. On to wildflower number 3. This one uses an extra small felt palm as the center, but I bet you could also use this center too. It's the exact same size. I'm going to use a palm though. Use your scissors to cut a small hole through the palm, and you'll add it onto your stem by inserting your stem onto your glue-filled hole. This is where a fine tip hot glue gun really comes in handy too, so you can stick it into the hole. Let that dry. This one has 5 petals, and you're going to fold them exactly the same way as you did wildflower number 1. So adding a small line of glue at the bottom and then folding each side over until they meet in the middle. All you need to do next is glue them evenly around the center palm and add your bottom leaf. And there's wildflower number 3. And last but not least, the itty bitty daisy. This one uses 3 extra small felt palms for your flower centers. I used mustard from Benzie. This flower also incorporates your thinner 22 gauge wire. It's just a little bit more bendy, and we'll use that to twist your smaller flowers around a thicker 18 gauge wire. First, take your 18 gauge wire and add an extra small felt palm to it. Cut a small hole and glue it to your stem. I'm going to let that dry for a second. Take your 22 gauge wire and cut a 4.5 inch length. That's perfect. This is where we're going to add two of your flowers to. Add a palm to one end. Next, take one of your flower petals and thread it through the 18 gauge wire. Add some glue to your petal and then pinch it up around the palm. Add your next petal on. And to add your flower to this end, we're going to do petal first, otherwise it'll be blocked by the palm. Add your palm and then we can glue the flower. So next we're going to wrap this around your thicker 18 gauge wire. Oh, see this petal sticking out? I'm just going to add a little drop of glue right there. So hold it wherever you want it to wrap. I like to hold it with my index finger so it stays in place, and then wrap one end as tightly as you can around the stem. Okay, so that's not going anywhere because I wrapped it really tight, but for extra stability, I'm going to use my needle nose pliers and just pinch those 2 wires together. Now I know it's not going anywhere. All done. So there you have it, your 4 types of felt wildflowers. I love these so much because they look good as singles, they look good in a wildflower bouquet, and they also look good in a felt flower bouquet with larger flowers and used as filler, and you can use any color you want. So have fun creating and let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell at the top to stay up to date on all of my tutorials. Thank you.